Hi, everyone. This is Jama with Women's Net, and I'm so excited to introduce our July 2025 winners. We are so excited to announce our Amber Grant winner and also our Startup Grant winner. And this month, our business category winner was a business that does work in the animal services industry. So thank you so much. We're so excited to know more about what you're doing, and we'll get right into the interview. So, our Amber Grant winner for the month of July is Anna, co-owner of West Village Homeschool Co-op. And then we have with us April, our business category grant winner with Animal Services. And we have Carly with Farmer Analytics, and she's our startup grant winner. And so we're so excited to have you all with us today. And so we'll begin. Anna, can you please tell us a little bit about West Village Homeschool Co-op?
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm so excited to tell you. West Village is a community-powered homeschool co-op in the Twin Cities. Basically, it's the kind of school you wish you could have gone to as a kid. It's just amazing. We focus on providing really memorable and meaningful experiences for kiddos that they may not be able to get at their home setting if they're homeschooled or in a traditional setting. So when we succeed at what we do, the kids just love learning and it happens really organically. So basically, supporting happy lifelong learners is what we're after, and we get to work with a lot of great little humans every week while we do this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And April, please tell us about your animal services business. And it's a super cool and exciting one. And then tell us what state you're going to be going into today.
We are originally based in Virginia, and we started going out RVing and different things like that, and ran into a lot of people that needed to have their dogs groomed. And we have a brick and mortar at our home base, and so a lot of people were saying, "Hey, it's a hard time finding somebody to groom our dogs while we're out on the road." So I've been working on the idea for about 5 years to get out there and help a lot of the full timers and seasonal campers. So we travel right now on the East Coast to different campgrounds and set up for a weekend or a week to be able to help get some people and get their dogs groomed and different things like that. So, and we are actually headed to Tennessee today to go out to Pigeon Forge.
Wonderful. What an exciting business you have. And Carly with Farmer Analytics, all the way in Vermont. Tell us a little bit about Farmer Analytics.
Yeah, so Farmer Analytics is something I've been thinking about for a long time now and just starting up in the past year. And essentially, I test fecal egg count samples for veterinarians, livestock producers, homesteaders, pet owners, and I basically allow them to send me a sample, and then they get a result back with a fecal egg count. Consulting and going out to farms and consulting farmers on how they can better manage parasites on their farms. And even more recently, moving into offering courses for farmers and homesteaders as well.
Wonderful. That's amazing. And so thank you all of you for the amazing work you're doing, whether it's working with young ones, with supporting our most loved family members, furry friends, and also with our food. And so thank you so much. To begin with, let's go back to Anna. Tell me, what makes your business approach unique or different from other homeschooling businesses that are providing a similar service?
Yeah, so we've taken everything that families love about the different co-ops and we've tried to bring them into one place. So I'll go through kind of a few of those things. One super cool thing about us is that we're almost entirely volunteer run. This keeps classes really affordable and it also allows us to pay our teachers really well. So we pay our teachers and then I'm the director and we have over 50 parents volunteering throughout the year helping things run. So that's really amazing. It's amazing how strong a community feels when everybody has a hand in making it run. And so that's one thing, super cool. Another thing that kind of sets us apart is that we have a lot of opportunities for everyday people, often stay-at-home parents, to have a creative outlet. So they get to come in and share their passions. We don't have any, like, you have to be a certified teacher to be able to come in. No, you just have to like love something so much that you can't not share it. And so our kiddos get to learn from really passionate teachers and sometimes even see their parent get into their element that maybe they haven't done for 10 years because they're living off of 3 hours of sleep from babies, it's just so cool. It's a win-win-win. The kiddos win for sure. The people who come in win because they get to invest in themselves in that way. And then it just lifts the community a lot. Also, a lot of co-ops are kind of exclusive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be exactly what those families need. But sometimes, like in our area, there's a lot of religious co-ops, and you have to sign a statement of faith. And if you're not in complete alignment with the beliefs of the people of that co-op, you're not allowed to participate in the co-op. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it works really well for a lot of families, but we're serving a different purpose. And we welcome all families from all backgrounds. We have a lot of religious families, a lot of non-religious families, and they all get to come together. And it's so cool to be in a space where you can feel yourself and also safe, and where, there's not going to be politics, or there's not going to be religion that can be divisive. Instead, what really unites us and brings us together is a love of learning and a desire for our children to learn in really meaningful, kind of unique and cool ways, and also develop friendships. So I think that that's kind of unique in that there's not a lot of places where you can bring like super different people together and have it be so positive and so powerful. And then probably the coolest thing I think about us is that our classes are like, there's no, what's the word? Like, it's not like checkbook learning at all, or textbook or checkbox, I should say, learning. There's not homework. It's not heavy-handed. There's not a lot of pressure. They're hands-on. They're fun. There's no homework. There's no grades. Teachers, one of our teachers who does history, we call it living history, because the teacher comes in costume and tells stories as the people from history and brings artifacts that are like the real things the voyagers used when they traveled. We have a teacher doing logical fallacies coming up, and there are going to be a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of heated discussion. It's very hands-on, super memorable. Last year, a group built Rube Goldberg machines, and they had to learn collaboration and give and take and cooperation with all their classmates on how to make these simple machines and how do they really work. So you're not just learning about an Archimedes. You're not just learning about an Archimedes screw. You're learning like who is Archimedes and what it's all about making connections and really fostering a love of learning. Healthy meal cooking is another class coming. I mean, on the website, it's just like so many cool things in one place. One other thing I'll just share really quick because I'm super excited about it is we're doing a teens program, and like I have not seen anything like this out there, where we are um, getting the kids together to learn real world skills like repairing bicycles, personal finance, even construction basics, like what are all the layers from the inside of your wall to the outside, and they're going to build it. And then we might sell it and use the funds to, there's a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities. And then we're going to send them out into the cities, and they're going to go to a business where they're going to learn about cybersecurity. They're going out to a regenerative farm where they're going to learn about regenerative farming. They're going to do some outdoor survival challenges. It's like stuff like that for 30 weeks. Like you can't help but grow into a better version of yourself when you're just exposed to tons of ideas and tons of opportunities that like, I mean, I never went and learned about lapidary. Like I didn't even know what that word meant. It's like rocks, just so you guys know if you don't know. But we are going to a rock shop where there's a man who's retired, and he has a rock shop. He's so passionate, and he cuts the rocks, and the kids will get the experience. So basically, that's just a mix up of like a mix of all the great things, but it's really bringing all of these things, the community, the creativity, the immersive learning into one place and providing that to the upcoming generation. Like that's really what sets us apart and I think makes us really special.
Very nice. Thank you. Sounds like I want to take some of those classes.
Yeah, come on over. Let's do this.
Now, April with Campfire Cuts, campground dog grooming. I have a question for you because I would think that having a business on wheels and also just going into the different campgrounds, like you have to manage so many aspects of your business to have it run. So, are there any things that you use to help keep yourself organized? Because we do have quite a bit of businesses that are mobile businesses that we've funded and also women that are part of our network. So, can you please share?
Yes, actually, our home-based business, we started with our Wix website.
Mhm.
And so we have a different program that we do appointments and point of sale and different things in our home base. But I wanted it to all be linked together so it would be easier instead of sending somebody to another place to do point of sale. So we ended up going through Wix. We do all of our appointments through there. We schedule the different campgrounds through there as well as point of sale through there as well. So everything's in one place. We don't have a lot of different places that we're going to and different things. Of course, social media advertise through there and that to help get the word of where we're, going to be at and different things. Other than that, to be able to keep where we're going the next day because it's very fast paced of where we're going and different things. As I just keep it on my phone on my calendar. That's the only way I can keep it all in track. And then as soon as we sign up with the campground and know the dates that we're going, then I go back to the website, set up to where people can schedule those appointments, and then also updating our website of different places that we're going. It's changing every time because in the early spring we only had a couple of places, and now we're booked up through November of different campgrounds that we're going to, and so it's like I said, ever changing. So it's easy with having the Wix program to be able to go in there and change that, even when we're out on the road and different things like that as well.
Awesome, thank you. I'm also imagining too that with new campgrounds being built or, being updated, that you will continue to have this service. And how convenient is it to be able to get this service at an RV park? And so, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And our next person, Carly, can you please tell us a little bit about with the work that you're doing, what partners or collaborations, how do you go about getting these? Because you mentioned working with farmers and then people that maybe have their, own kitchen gardens or, their own um, growing areas or farming areas. So I don't know what the right word for that is. So how do you build these partnerships or what have you done? And then how do you plan on continuing to develop that, if that question makes sense?
Yeah, so I live really rurally. So this has been actually the challenge of the year for me. But I can tell you from the very start, I started by partnering with specifically local veterinary offices. And that kind of gained some momentum with word of mouth. People were asking, like, oh, who's doing the fecal egg counts? And then they would go directly to me. Um, and then more recently, I really entered the online space, which has been, in my opinion, a game changer. There's still word of mouth, but it's in a different form. And most recently, I have been going to more events and meeting influencers that are
Yeah.
online who are also really passionate about animal health and sustainable farming. And they're very excited to jump on board with me and collaborate essentially on spreading the word and learning more and teaching their followers, teaching anybody online who needs that information, those resources. Um, so really a lot of, networking, going to in-person events, I think is so big, especially in this day and age of everything's online, everything's quick,
Mhm.
and just having real conversations with people. And that has opened doors for me immensely, opportunities and partnerships. Um, and with that said, I've been able to do some webinars. I've been invited to do webinars on these topics and talk more about educating people and giving them information that they really want and need. And And within those partnerships, there's also a lot of mentorship for me specifically. So getting a lot of good feedback on my ideas and how to push them forward and really make them come to fruition. And just having somebody in your corner saying, yes, that's a great idea. That's something that a lot of people are looking for. Really, really helps to keep the momentum and the positivity and the motivation. So
Great, thank you. I have to say, many years ago, I read a book by Ed Young. He's a parasitologist. I don't know if you know him, but he really got me into parasites and just understanding parasites and just, you have this important work that you're doing and you're seeing it under a microscope and you're seeing how all these environmental things are impacting, our animals, our soils, our everything. But like to be able to share them and talk about them in plain language like Ed does is really cool. And your work is just so important, not just to the person that you're providing these services with, but I love that you're doing webinars and you're reaching other people too, because that could really have an international impact. So very, very cool. Thank you.
thank you.
And going back to Anna, so you're doing a bunch of really cool things in terms of learning, field trips, hands-on learning. It sounds like just a lot of different things. What strategies are you using to let people increasingly know about your business?
Yeah, this is a tough question when you sent it that I was thinking about because like we're not trying to get a huge customer base necessarily. Like we're
Yeah,
just trying to get the people who need who are aligned with kind of this idea of maybe learning non-traditionally and in a very immersive, holistic way. Um, so I would say our honestly our best marketing is the kids. Like they leave class and they're just buzzing about what they learned and what they did and how funny that teacher was and the project, and they want to share the fun fact with their parents. So parents like see the sparks and then
yeah,
the word just spreads. Or some of the kids will tell their friends and then they'll tell their parents. And so we've been pretty lucky in that like it just kind of has unfolded before us. We have a few initiatives that we've done that I'll share that I think could potentially be helpful for others in trying to grow their businesses. And so we've hosted some public events that are no membership needed. They're open to everybody, homeschool or not, members of our co-op or not. And everybody loves getting something for free or a good deal or some of these fun activities. So we have done like weekly beach days in the summer where it's just open. Somebody can come and with their kiddos and just know that there will be people there to welcome them and like hear their story. There'll be other kids to play with. So just very, lighthearted, informal gatherings has been really helpful, especially for us to meet some of the families and help them get to know us. We do these monthly field trips, and those are really cool because when you have a large group, you can often negotiate deals and
yeah,
get things for cheaper. And most of us are strapped for cash because we're on like single parent income,
mhm,
trying to, make ends meet. So being able to get your kid, like we took a group to do zip lining, or no, they had zip
mhm,
lines there. We didn't end up, we're doing that probably next year, but we did the high ropes course. And
mhm.
the expense for that was like 40% cheaper than
Yeah,
if you go by yourself. And it's not a cheap activity. But when you come with a group, whether or not you're a member of our co-op, you'll be able to participate in activities at a oftentimes reduced rate. So that's pretty cool. And then one of the things I like think are super fun and one of my favorites is like parent workshops. Again, not necessary. You don't even have to be a parent. You can still come to the workshop. But we started parent workshops last year. We're all going into our third year. And we started the parent workshops last year. And one of the parent workshops was we brought in a professor from the university, and they talked about raising sexually healthy children in culture and in a day and age that can be challenging with some of the internet and the social media and the comparison. Just so many things are hard in this category. So bringing in a professor to communicate to all of us and give us some very practical hands-on stuff. That was awesome. This coming year, we have one of the moms is like a plant medicine mama, and she's super passionate about plant medicine. And she is going to do a DIY fire cider class in the fall. Again, people from the church that's hosting us can come, other families can come. It's open to anybody. They can come and they can leave with we leave with their fire cider for the winter months, just it's so practical and it's fun and it's social, and a lot of homeschool families feel isolated and don't feel connected or like we really get to invest in these kinds of things for ourselves that are fun and educational. So they'll get to do that at these parent workshops, and they'll leave healthier, and they might smell like vinegar, but it's all good. Like it's just super fun. So we do occasional emails to our subscribers. So definitely that. I've made a very strong effort to not do a lot of emails because they, in my opinion, like I just was reflecting for myself. When I get weekly emails from groups and businesses, I open them way less because they're just always going to be there if I want to look at it. But when I get the people who send out an email, maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, I click on those ones because I have, it's fresh, it's new. So we really try to limit those that we send to our subscribers. Also, if we need to fill a few seats, like in the class, we'll post on our local homeschooling Facebook groups.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like we do very minimal of that. It's really the community connection that spreads the word the very best. And it's just, we have like amazing teachers with amazing gifts that they finally get to share. So they're even sharing what they're doing, and that spreads the word. And then just these awesome families. So it's such a collaborative thing that makes it all possible. It's not really one marketing strategy. It's kind of just the big picture. And I think the energy that comes that keeps it moving forward.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And we're going to move on to April with Campfire Cuts. I'm really excited about this question about a lesson learned story that you wish somebody would have told you instead of having to experience.
So I would probably say that the one thing that we noticed is that we had already had a camper to start the business. And my original idea was to get a toy hauler. For those that don't know what a toy hauler is one that has an extra garage in the back, and convert that toy hauler into the grooming salon. And my husband was just a little bit worried about spending that amount of money because it is a large amount to get one of the toy haulers. So we did end up getting a grooming trailer. So now we're with 2 trucks and 2 trailers. And at this point, we are wanting to go ahead and get that toy hauler. So I think that in the long run, financially, that probably was not the best decision. So where the lesson was learned. But we were both kind of concerned, is it going to take off? Are people actually going to like our idea? And we just had our year anniversary, and at that point we realized that people really like the idea, and everybody keeps coming and saying, hey, this is a $1 million idea, and we kept like, I need that $1 million to be able to go forward.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that is a wonderful lessons learned story. And Carly, how do you go about developing your business plan? Are there any books or websites or organizations you found helpful?
Yeah, so this actually, my business plan goes way back. uh, let's probably 8 years ago at this point. And this actually started when I started farming. I have my own farm and homestead here. And I met with a business planner, and I got all the tips and um, uh, documents and things to start recording what I needed to. I also took a course called Journey Farmers here in Vermont. And again, this was really focused on managing records, record keeping, developing your goals, and prioritizing. And I took all of this from those 2 experiences, and I brought them right into this business idea. And I think the main things I've taken away are prioritizing goals and setting 1 year goals, 2 year goals, 5 year goals, 10 year goals, and really having that in front of your face at all times so that it keeps you on track. It keeps you seeing the big picture and keeps you motivated to get to where you're hoping to go. Not everything's perfect. It's not always going to hit your goals, but it's a good thing to have in front of you at all times. Another thing that I would suggest is spending a lot of time listening and listening to
Mm,
other women entrepreneurs. One thing I spent a lot of time doing is listening to podcasts.
yeah.
People who have created courses, people who've sold courses and been successful with those, people who have started businesses from the ground up. Uh, Too many podcasts to name which ones, because I'm all over the place with them. But listening to other people's experiences, and kind of going back to my first talk about other people like influencers and um, listening to them too and taking their advice and putting that into your business plan. Um, and I will say I have gotten a lot of good resources off of the Women's Net website as well. I've been all over that looking at those, and those are super helpful. But there's tons of information online, and I think my my main takeaway for my business plan um, was just having a goal, but allowing myself to ebb and flow as
Mhm.
time goes on, um, yeah, be able to adjust as I go and make sure that stays feasible and realistic.
Thank you. And that's kind of a really big deal, especially in your field, because it's not one that always comes to mind. Or how do we market for this? Like you have all this knowledge, but how do you build a business around that? And so that's that's very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. And so thank
Yeah.
you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I wanted to add one more thing because
Yes,
you
please do.
jogged my memory. Um, yeah, I think the big thing there for me, because my industry is so niche,
Yeah.
is finding um, a gap or a need and focusing on that because yeah, it's pretty small niche.
Hmm. Yes, but a very cool one. Maybe you'll get to present with Anna and her kiddos one day about
Yeah, that'd be fun.
parapsychology.
Yeah.
So very cool. Well, thank you all three of you. Congratulations, Carly, Anna, and April. We're so excited about everything you've already been doing, but that you're going to continue to do, especially with this additional grant funds. And so thank you so much, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.